You know, I think we all have this visceral reaction to one specific
Oh,
scenario.
absolutely.
If you're driving through the city, traffic is it's heavy, right? But you spot your opportunity.
The green light.
Exactly. The light is green and you're thinking, okay, I can make it across this intersection. You pull in,
And it happens.
too late.
Yeah.
You realize the other side is completely backed up. You stop, stranded right in the middle, and then the light flips red.
And just like that.
You, a single vehicle, have just triggered instantaneous, artery-clogging chaos.
It's the ultimate frustration of modern commuting. And, it's almost entirely self-inflicted.
Right.
The sources you've shared for this deep dive, they focus on precisely that moment, that single stop caused by impatience or just poor judgment.
And the ripple effect.
The severe, damaging ripple effect it creates. This isn't just about a minor delay. This is about gridlock, safety risks, and even emergency response failures.
So that's our mission today. We're going to uncover why getting caught in that box is so much more dangerous than just a slight inconvenience. We're looking at the anatomy of these blockages, the real-world consequences, the laws, and, I think most importantly, the strategic knowledge you need to avoid causing the problem.
And by the time we're done, you'll have those specific practical tips and also the strategic context, that like the bigger picture understanding of the system.
To spot the warning signs.
To spot those warning signs instantly, yeah. And prevent yourself from becoming that catalyst for citywide traffic failure. You'll be a significantly more thoughtful driver, keeping the whole system flowing for everyone.
Okay, so let's unpack this. When we talk about an intersection locking up, it just feels like chaos, but the sources actually break down the ingredients for this failure.
They do.
It's rarely just one thing, right? It's more of a perfect storm.
It truly is. We can basically categorize the causes into two buckets: systemic pressures and driver failures. The foundational element is just simple traffic congestion. Heavy volumes, especially during rush hour, are the kindling.
So the roads are already full.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you already have full lanes, any minor hiccup, any little thing, instantly spills back. And here's where infrastructure plays a role. Physical bottlenecks.
Like a lane dropping off.
Right, the lane dropping or merging right after a big intersection. That almost guarantees spillback is going to happen.
So that's the systemic pressure. But if the light is green, why are we seeing drivers actively drive into that mess? If you had to distill the driver's main failure into one single rule, what is it?
It boils down to one simple rule, and you actually mentioned it: entering without clearance. Drivers rely on the green light as, permission to move, but the rule really requires foresight. You have to ensure you have enough space on the other side of the intersection.
Enough space to get your whole car through.
To completely clear your vehicle before you even cross that stop line. That is the critical failing.
And when people violate that, it's often done pretty aggressively.
It is. Aggressive maneuvers just accelerate the whole problem. Think about someone rapidly changing lanes to beat the light, or tailgating the car in front because they don't want to leave a gap.
Right, zero margin for error.
Exactly. Those tight margins leave no room for error. So when the traffic ahead stops suddenly, the aggressive driver is often the one left with the rear bumper stuck right in the cross traffic.
And then there's the system failure side of it, which is, well, it's often out of the driver's hands, like poorly coordinated signals.
Absolutely. This is where that domino effect really, really picks up speed. If traffic signals are poorly timed, or more critically, if the timing isn't coordinated between adjacent intersections.
Say 2 blocks apart.
Yeah, 2 blocks apart. Vehicles get pushed through one green light only to arrive at the next one just as it turns red. This forces them to stop, and then they spill back, blocking the junction they just left.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is. The whole road network essentially turns into a series of choke points, almost designed for failure.
And of course, we can't ignore the big external events that turn heavy traffic into total gridlock. Accidents, breakdowns, construction.
Or even just bad weather. Those factors act as an immediate pressure release. A vehicle breakdown that reduces a 3-lane road to 2. Well, that causes an instant, unavoidable funnel.
And if traffic's already high?
When traffic volume is already high, these factors don't just slow things down. They make sure that the likelihood of a driver misjudging that clearance on the other side goes from probable to almost certain.
So it takes a competent driver and puts them in a panic.
It forces them into a panicked, rushed decision. Exactly.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, though. This is where we move beyond just a simple traffic annoyance. How does one car stop for what? 60 seconds maybe, create such a huge, damaging, multi-mile ripple effect?
Because that one car is the key catalyst for gridlock.
Right.
And we define gridlock not just as heavy traffic, but as a condition where the congestion is so severe that no vehicles can move in any direction.
At all.
At all. It effectively locks up the entire road network. When you block that intersection, you prevent vehicles on the cross street from passing. They, in turn, might block their adjacent intersection, and the paralysis just spreads, block by block.
Sometimes across whole neighborhoods.
Oh, easily.
So we're talking about a significant economic consequence here, just from that loss of efficiency.
Huge. When traffic grinds to a halt, the effective capacity of the whole road network just plummets. Businesses lose money, deliveries get delayed, productivity is lost. But the immediate concern, which the sources really stress, is the accident risk.
See, that seems counterintuitive. How does being stopped in the middle of a road increase the risk of a crash?
It increases the risk because it forces unpredictable, reactive driving from everyone else.
Oh.
Drivers trying to avoid getting caught will make sudden, aggressive stops, which leads to a big uptick in rear-end crashes. They might also try abrupt lane changes to get around the blockage, which dramatically increases the risk of side impact collisions from cars that are already legally moving through the junction on their green light.
So the blockage introduces this chaotic element where no one can predict what the other cars will do.
Exactly.
And beyond the vehicles themselves, blocked intersections create huge hazards for vulnerable road users. I'm thinking pedestrians and cyclists.
Absolutely critical point. When a vehicle stops halfway into the crosswalk, or even just a little bit beyond the stop line, it completely reduces visibility for people trying to cross.
Right, they can't see around the car.
And drivers can't see them. Pedestrians are forced to step out into the roadway to navigate around these stopped vehicles, moving into unsafe areas just across the street.
So you're forcing people into unexpected lines of traffic.
You are. It just compounds the danger for everyone not encased in a 2-ton steel box.
And then there's the longer-term consequence that affects all of us, whether we're stuck in traffic or sitting blocks away, and that's the environmental impact. Idling cars are doing real damage.
They really are. This is one of the most overlooked costs of gridlock. When vehicles are idling stopped but running, they are achieving 0 miles per gallon.
Zero.
The sources cite studies showing that gridlock wastes billions of gallons of fuel globally every year.
Yeah.
And it's not just wasted fuel. That prolonged idling means a huge increase in the emission of pollutants.
Like carbon monoxide.
Carbon monoxide, unburned hydrocarbons right in the middle of dense urban areas. It significantly worsens local air quality.
Yeah.
Every time you see a massive gridlock, you're looking at a major localized pollution event.
But the real so what moment, the critical consequence that elevates this from a traffic nuisance to a public safety threat, is the impact on emergency response times. This is literally life and death.
This cannot be overstated. Blocking intersections directly delays emergency vehicles, ambulances, fire trucks, police, at the absolute most critical moments.
Because they can't get through.
If a major arterial road is gridlocked because several junctions are choked, emergency services simply cannot use their dedicated route.
How long are these delays we're talking about? Is it an extra minute or something much worse?
The delays can be devastating. I mean, emergency protocols are based on reaching a scene within specific, very tight time windows. One of the articles we looked at cited data showing that in emergencies like cardiac arrest or a major fire, a delay of just 2 minutes can dramatically worsen the outcome.
2 minutes?
An ambulance forced to take a 2-mile detour around a blocked corridor, even if it only adds 3 or 4 minutes. That could be the difference between life and permanent disability, or between containing a fire and losing the entire building.
Wow.
When you block an intersection, you are effectively gambling with the public safety of the entire area.
That makes the urgency of this so much more immediate. So if the consequences are this severe, what does the law say? Is being stuck in the intersection just bad judgment, or is it actually illegal?
Oh, it is absolutely illegal. And it's enforced, specifically through regulations known as Don't Block the Box laws.
Don't block the box.
The intent is crystal clear. These laws codify that golden rule we talked about. You cannot enter the intersection unless you have sufficient space on the other side to clear it completely without stopping. Ignorance is no defense.
And what are the penalties like for that? I assume they vary.
They do vary, but in big cities where congestion is a constant problem, the fines can be pretty significant. We're talking triple digits, often, sometimes coupled with points on your driving record.
And how do they catch people?
Well, to increase enforcement, many cities rely on traffic cameras now. They monitor these intersections, and if a camera catches your vehicle stopped inside that designated box area when the light changes, you get an automated ticket in the mail.
Knowing that, let's transition to the practical steps you can take to be part of the solution. This is about being proactive, and that core principle you mentioned, it really bears repeating. Assess the traffic ahead.
That is the foundation of defensive driving in cities. Before you even take your foot off the brake to enter that intersection, even with a green light, your eyes have to be focused on the exit point.
Not on the light.
Not on the light. If the traffic ahead is stopped or moving slowly, you must wait behind the stop line. Patience is a necessity here, not a choice.
And it's better for everyone.
Waiting one light cycle is infinitely better for you and for the entire system than causing a 15-minute gridlock event.
And simple communication is key too, right? Reducing that unpredictability for other drivers.
Precisely. Use your turn signals clearly and early. It helps drivers around you anticipate what you're going to do, which reduces all that sudden braking and aggressive maneuvering.
And following distance.
You need to maintain a realistic following distance. In heavy stop-and-go traffic, leaving that little extra space gives you precious reaction time if the car in front suddenly stops in the intersection.
And we can't forget the human element, especially with crosswalks.
Absolutely. Always stop behind the designated line. Make sure those crosswalks are clear. It's fundamental courtesy and safety for pedestrians.
Yeah.
And in general, just staying alert, avoiding distractions like your phone is paramount. Anticipation is the key to not getting caught flat-footed when that light suddenly changes.
These individual actions are obviously crucial, but gridlock is a systemic problem. So what are cities doing to manage this beyond just hoping drivers will be more patient?
This moves us into some pretty advanced traffic management strategies. One of the most effective tools is something we touched on: signal optimization.
So moving beyond those old fixed timers.
Right. Cities are moving away from fixed timing, which is static. It doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. or 5 p.m.
That does seem a bit archaic. What exactly does adaptive signal control do that makes it so much better?
It's revolutionary because it's real time. Adaptive systems use cameras, sensors in the road, to constantly measure the traffic volume, the speed, the cues on all approaches to an intersection.
And then it adjusts on the fly.
It dynamically adjusts the length of the green line. The real insight here is that one single light can hold back a lane for, say, 20 seconds to prevent a major intersection down the street from completely locking up.
So it's optimizing for the whole network, not just that one corner.
Exactly. It's sacrificing a little bit of immediate flow to maintain long-term stability across a whole corridor.
And they couple that with something else, right? Coordinated timing.
Yes, coordinated signal timing, which creates what they call green waves. The goal is to set the lights along a major road so that if you maintain the speed limit, you theoretically hit a continuous series of green lights.
So you just sail through.
You pass through multiple intersections smoothly. It prevents that stop-start pattern that causes spillback in the first place.
And what about, actual physical changes to the road, infrastructure improvement?
Infrastructure is vital for prevention. Things like dedicated left or right turn lanes are essential. They separate turning traffic from the through traffic, which dramatically reduces delays in the main lanes.
And roundabouts.
The sources also highlight the utility of modern roundabouts. Now, they're sometimes unpopular, but roundabouts are incredibly effective at improving continuous flow and virtually eliminating those hard gridlock blockages you see at traditional four-way intersections.
So to summarize this whole deep dive then, we started with the simple, frustrating act of one car blocking the box. And we've moved pretty quickly to understanding its severe, even life-altering impact on traffic flow, on environmental health, and most critically, public safety and emergency response.
And we saw that fixing it requires this multifaceted approach, using smart technology like adaptive signals, reinforcing those don't block the box laws, and, crucially, elevating individual driver behavior from being impulsive to being strategic.
And that leads us to a final provocative thought for you to consider, which builds on these systemic solutions we just talked about.
Okay.
If blocking the intersection is highly illegal and dangerous, yet it happens constantly just because the traffic volume is too high for the road's capacity, well, that raises a really important urban planning question.
When does a city's fundamental reliance on single-occupancy vehicles turn simple driver behavior from just an individual inconvenience into a critical, unmanageable public safety threat?
What role does our individual decision on transport, whether we choose to drive or take public transit or cycle, play in maintaining the safe, efficient flow of an entire urban system?
Right.
It highlights that the long-term solution to gridlock is so much larger than just making sure you clear the intersection. It's about enhancing public transportation, maybe implementing broader policies like congestion pricing.
Fundamentally reduce the sheer number of cars competing for the same limited space.
Exactly.
It's worth considering that whole network next time you patiently wait behind the line, watching the gridlock clear ahead of you. Your choice matters far more than you probably realize.
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.